Far-infrared rays and bioceramics, a revelation. Introduction. Profile of Professor Li Dongqi. Professor Li Dongqi is a leading exponent and authority in the field of far-infrared ray technology and bioceramics, with over 40 long years of original research done in this area. She is currently the leading pioneer consultant for all FIR and bioceramic-related technologies and applications. Professor Li graduated from college in 1962, and ever since, she was completely engaged in scientific research. The following year, she was recognized and conferred the honor of Women Pioneer of Tianjin City for her outstanding performance in her research projects. Many years later, in 1980, she pursued her master's degree in this field for 2 years. A couple of years later, in 1986, she undertook extensive research on energy radiation from different materials under normal temperature conditions, emitting far-infrared rays which matched those emitted from the human body. During this process, she acquired 28 patents in her research field. 5 years later, in 1991, after successfully conducting field trials and clinical experiments on 1,004 cases in 4 municipal hospitals of Tianjin City, over a period of 6 months, she transformed her findings into newly invented far-infrared ray products, which was approbated by the Tianjin Medicinal Association and subsequently certified by the Tianjin Medicinal Bureau, to market these products. 3. After obtaining permission under Tianjin Medicinal Standard No. 91, 2,260,001. These FIR products also received a high appraisal from the acknowledged experts of Chinese Medicinal Association. Her unique products also won the Markovian Prize in the Second National Hygienical Exposition. A year later, in 1992, her products won the gold medal in the Chinese Sanitarian Exposition. She was also recognized and honored as one of the top 10 exceptional inventive entrepreneur of China, jointly conferred by the National Labor Union, the National Patent Bureau and the National Invention Association. In recognition of her selfless service to the betterment of mankind, she was personally interviewed by the Chinese Prime Minister Mr. Li Peng and received high appraisal and laurels for her outstanding work. The following year, the newly excogitated FIR product was specified as the exclusive far-infrared medical care product in the 4th World Congress on Women. 5 years later, the improved version of all her FIR products won the gold medal in the 7th Patent and New Technology Products Exposition of China. Her astounding success brought her accolades from many Southeast Asian countries, and this paved the way for introducing her FIR products into all these countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, and Korea, where the products were widely welcomed and highly evaluated for its unprecedented capabilities in providing tremendous relief from various ailments afflicting mankind. Professor Li now brings all her entire findings into a simple and concise book for the purpose of creating all-round awareness in the field of far-infrared rays and bioceramics to the millions of aspirants the world over. 4. Preface. Among the many situations and facets we come across in our entire lifetime, good or bad, there are certain inevitable issues, or rather realities, such as confrontation with various ailments, death and the inevitable aging process. All these are a part and parcel of nature and life that goes around it. Hence it is necessary to confront them with a positive attitude of the mind. None of us wish to be involved with any of the ailments that befall upon us. Nevertheless, we need to be on our guard and take adequate measures to prevent interaction with such ailments, complying to the old Chinese saying, you can own everything but health. The most important thing that all of us desire in life is to have a sound good health, without which no other cherished desires can be achieved. There are 2 ways of maintaining good health. One is to foster the 5 natural elements of nature and use them to counter the onset of any ailment. The other is to protect oneself with various tonics and medication, leading to a lot of inherent side effects, creating other ailments in the process. Between the 2, the former method of prevention is most desirable to contain all types of sickness from attacking our bodies. Among the known preventive methods, one can avoid illness by vaccination, ensuring proper hygiene and cleanliness in our daily lives, taking firm measures to create a clean environment to live in, and taking adequate precautionary measures for the intake of clean and healthy food as well as fresh water. It is also necessary that apart from adhering to these norms, we need to also abstain from unhealthy habits. It is matter of paramount importance for all of us to be aware of the ground realities of this polluted world and be conscious enough to consume healthy food, which will in turn strengthen our bodies by providing increasing body resistance and immunity against diseases. Consumption of proper healthy food would enhance and strengthen the physical functions of various parts of our body, which would provide us the much-needed immunity to fight all illnesses. In addition to this, we also need to maintain a 7. Natural balance of our ecology by proper disposal of waste through biodegradable technologies. Coming from the ages, through evolution, Man has made a wonderful progress in the development of science and technology, using all the resources available in the natural environment, and over a period of time, we have begun to exploit these resources to a point where the very benefits have now turned into potential sources of human extinction. We are the ones who are continuously destroying our own living environment without realizing the same. As already stated above, the 5 essential ingredients that constitute a healthy, lively ambience for people to live in, i.e., air, fire, soil, water and sunlight, have in today's context been misused to the core. The time has now come for people to realize this self-made grave folly and learn to coexist in harmony with the natural environment and create necessary steps to stop and reverse the ecological imbalance. Looking back 50 years in time, one can confidently say that the highest incidence of fatal diseases like malaria, polio, smallpox, plague, cholera, jaundice etc., had afflicted mankind to such an extent that it drove them to counter these ailments through the development of modern science and technology, eventually containing and eliminating such dreaded diseases. Nevertheless, in our fight against eradicating all fatal diseases, we are still confronted with the dreaded cancer and AIDS. Today's survey shows that these devastating diseases thrive on account of environmental pollution, as well as on account of massive doses of acidic-based food items. As is known to all, the Sun is the only planet which has not been polluted, and it is a known fact all life form in our planet exist on account of the far infrared rays emanating from the Sun. This life-giving force, constituting almost 80% of the Sun's rays, is so very essential to our existence. 8. The advancement of science and technology has taken its toll, in systematically but slowly destroying the ozone layer, which used to protect the harmful rays of the Sun like X-rays, cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, from reaching us, thus preventing dangerous ailments like skin cancer to proliferate. As a result of this uncontrolled misuse of natural resources for technological advancement, the depletion of the ozone layer has caused people to avoid sunlight almost totally, live and work indoors with minimum outdoor activity. Today's lifestyle across the globe are in stark contrast to those lived by our ancestors. It is a known fact that our ancestors worked and lived directly under the sun for their livelihood, thereby building a greater body resistance when compared to us. They were comfortable in drinking water drawn from rivers, pools and lakes, which were not polluted as compared to the present-day scenario. This contrast is mainly attributable to our careless attitude and regard for the environment, which we live in, while making technological advancements for a better living. This has resulted in us creating a situation akin to plants in a greenhouse, unexposed to the environment around us. We have voluntarily confined ourselves in a modern greenhouse, avoiding sunlight to the maximum. It is an irony of technological advancements that we have now embarked upon finding alternatives more as a mode of escape, rather than facing the self-made natural onslaught and making attempts to reverse the same. To cite an example, we feel comfortable to stay indoors in order to avoid the harmful effects emanating from the sun's X-rays and ultraviolet rays. We make attempts to avoid consuming food grown from soil which is laden with fertilizers, pesticides and other chemicals including man-made waste, by developing and eating safe food, green food. With regard to natural water, which is undoubtedly polluted the world over, with industrial waste and other pollutants, we have found methods of filtering, sterilizing, purifying this polluted water and transforming it into pure distilled water and ionized water. Such being the state of affairs of our so-called technologically advanced world, it has now become a luxury to live a natural healthy life, where the quest for longevity is but a paradox. We have voluntarily brought ourselves into a vicious circle, from which there is apparently no getaway. Under these circumstances, in order for us to sustain and live a good healthy life, amidst all these man-made dangers, we need to tap into the goodness of present-day health products, which are reliable to the extent of strengthening our body, in terms of resistance and immunity, to confront and take on the various diseases effectively. This along with adequate exercise and proper nutritional intake could perhaps lead us to lead a healthier lifestyle. In today's market, there are umpteen different types of health products, catering to the needs and uses of different strata of society. To the best of our knowledge, the most effective amongst such health products are those which are constituted and developed with far infrared ray technology. It is but most natural and logical for all of us to accept that the innovations emanating from this state-of-the-art FIR technology has no side effects on the human body, as it is essentially the goodness of the sun that is absorbed into our bodies, creating a healthy outlook for oneself. During my 40-plus years of scientific research in the field of far infrared ray technology, I have always worked towards discovering ways for reducing the incidence of diseases and methods to deal with illnesses through a natural process. In my years of experience in the field of alternative medical research, I have identified many factors in our natural environment, which contribute to harming the human body, factors that are beyond our control. However, on the other hand, I have also discovered that there are other positive factors, which can restore the human health to a large degree. This has been made possible from the huge source of power generated from the sun, which is so beneficial to mankind and known as far-infrared rays. An attempt has been made by me to explain the benefits of using far-infrared ray technology products, using bioceramics as the medium, based on my research in this field of science. I am confident that the reader will find the contents of this book more interesting and resourceful in terms of gaining knowledge, in a totally lesser-known field. It is for you to use these products in its supportive therapy capacity, side by side along with the prescribed medication, in your quest to seek relief from modern-day ailments. Professor Li Dongqi 10. Health Knowledge, Basics, 11. 1. Health, a cause for concern. The fundamental prerequisite for sustenance of all life form in this planet is the judicial use of the primary natural elements like air, soil, water, fire and sunlight by mankind. If this happens, the human race can coexist with the natural environment in harmony, but the facts speak otherwise. What with the growing deterioration of the environment day by day, our existence in this planet will soon become a question mark. Out of the 5 prime elements, only sunlight remains in its purest form.